from the Shamayim, and the horse was pacing in the air. What do we know that horse to be? Based on our past studies and based on things we've learned, a Mirkava, a chariot, a Mirkava. And they told Chanok what they had seen, and Chanok said to them, on my account does this horse descend upon the earth. The time has come when I must go from you, and I shall no more be seen by you. And the horse descended at that time and stood before Chanok, and all the sons of men that were with Chanok saw him. And Chanok then again ordered a voice to be proclaimed, saying, where is the man who delights to know the halachot of Yahweh his Elohim? Let him come this day to Chanok before he is taken from us. And all the sons of man assembled and came to Chanok that day. And all the melachim of the earth with their princes and counselors remained with him that day. And Chanok taught the sons of men wisdom and knowledge and gave them divine Torah. And he bade them to serve Yahweh and walk in his halachot all the days of their lives and continue to make shalom among them. Now listen to this. After this time, he rose up and rode upon the horse. And he went forth, and all the sons of men went after him, about 800,000 men. And they went with him one day's journey. And the second day he said to them, return home to your tents. Why will you go? Perhaps you may die. Some of them went from him. Those that remained went with him. 6 days' journey. And Chanok said to them every day, return to your tents, lest you may die. But they were not willing to return, and they went with him. And in the 6th day some of the men remained and clung to him. And they said to him, we will go with you to the place where you go. As Yahweh lives. Sound familiar? As Yahweh lives. As Yahweh lives, death only shall separate us. And they urged so much to go with him. And he ceased speaking to them. And they went after him and would not return. And when the Melachim returned, they caused a census to be taken in order to know the number of remaining men that went with Chanok. And it was on the 7th day, check this out. It was on the 7th day, Shabbat. Hello? The 7th day, Shabbat. That Chanok ascended into the Shamayim in a whirlwind with horses and mirkavot of fire. So when did Enoch go to heaven? On a Shabbat. Amen. That makes sense? And on the 8th day, all the Melachim that had been with Chanok sent to bring back the number of men that were with Chanok in the place from which he had ascended into the Shamayim or heavens. And all those Melachim went to the place, and they found the earth filled with snow, and upon the snow were large stones of snow. And one said to another, come, let us break through the snow and see, perhaps men remain with Enoch, Chanok are dead, and are now under the stones of snow. But they searched, but could not find him, Enoch, Chanok, for he had ascended into the heavens. Now, so it appears from Sefer Yashar that Chanok, or Enoch, had ascended into the heavens, doesn't it? But it's irrelevant. Let's assume that Sefer Yashar is correct, the book of Jasher is correct, which I believe it probably is, okay? It's irrelevant. He cannot be one of the two witnesses. And I'll show you in a couple of minutes why it's Yochanan the Beloved and Eliyahu. Okay, number 2. Enoch was not Israel. Enoch does not appear, listen to this, Enoch, even in his first time on earth, when he was on earth, did not appear in physical form to human eyes, to witness anything, anywhere, at any time after he was taken. Didn't we just read that he witnessed about the Torah? That he talked about the Torah? That he shared the Torah? But after he was taken, he did not witness anywhere, anytime, in physical form. So it seems, listen, that when Enoch, or Chanok, was taken to heaven, his work was done. Amen? Why was his work done? Because he never prophesied to Israel. In order for his work not to be done, he had to be an Israelite or a Hebrew. But because his work was done, what? To prepare the world for the flood, to preach righteousness, to preach tzedakah, to preach holiness. his work was done. Eliyahu's work is not done, and neither is Yochanan the beloved. Moreover, in Gilead, Revelation 11:4, it says that the two witnesses, go to Revelation 11:4, it says that the two witnesses, or the two end-time witnesses, are two, Gilead 11:4, are two what? Two what? Two olive 18. Is there anyone ready to argue here that Enoch was an olive tree when he wasn't even an Israelite? Is anyone prepared to make that argument? That he was an olive tree when the olive tree itself is a symbol of national Israel, and the olive tree itself is a symbol of the people of Israel? It says, my two witnesses are two individuals from the two olive trees, the house of Yehudah and the house of Ephraim. Is anyone in this room prepared to argue that Enoch existed after Israel was formed as a nation? He was prophesying when? Before the Mabul, before the flood. Can he be an olive tree witness? How can he be an olive tree witness when he wasn't an olive tree? Can he be a Hebrew prophet? How can he be a Hebrew prophet when he wasn't a Hebrew? How can he be an Israelite prophet during Israel's trouble, or the time of Israel's trouble, when he wasn't even an Israelite? Does any of this make any sense? Yes. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Both Yochanan and Eliyahu are both olive tree witnesses. How do we know? Yochanan, as we learned 2 weeks ago, is from Bet Yehudah, being a Levite. And Eliyahu is from non-Jewish or Ephraim Israel, the north, the 10 tribes of the north. And we know that the two houses are collectively called the two witnesses. Thus, those two olive trees must give forth one anointed one each before Yahweh. Also, this is confirmed in Zechariah chapter 4, that the two witnesses are two what? Olive trees or olive branches. Each house during the Great Tribulation will give forth what? How many witnesses? One witness, and both witnesses must be an olive tree branch. Amen? Amen. Enoch is not an olive tree branch. So whether he was taken to heaven, and whether Sefer Yashar is correct, or he was never taken to heaven, becomes an irrelevant point, becomes a moot point. You want to argue, you want to believe that he was taken to heaven? Have at it. You want to believe he was transported, like Philip, from Gaza to Ashdod? Fine, have at it. Irrelevant, he still can't be one of the two end-time witnesses. Does this make sense? Yes. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. He's not an olive tree, he's not an olive branch. So he cannot prophesy again, in physical form again, to Yaakov during Yaakov's trouble, during the 70th week of Israel. Because, listen, a non-Israelite cannot witness to Israel during the 70th week of Daniel. The 70th week of Daniel is the time of Yaakov's trouble to mold a remnant for Yahweh from all the nations on the earth, to call the two houses together, to become one stick in his hand, and for that nation to be the redeemed, righteous remnant. That work must be done by two Israelite prophets. How many are sleeping? Raise your hand, please. If you raise your hand, I'll get rid of these pews. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Laugh, try me. Thus, Enoch, listen, cannot be one of the two witnesses, even if he did escape death, because he is neither from the house of Israel, or the house of Yehudah, or the house of David. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. More than that, listen, not only is Enoch not an olive tree, according to Revelation 11:4, the two witnesses must be olive tree branches, representing the two olive trees, Bet Yehudah and Bet Ephraim. Listen to this, Bet Yehudah and Bet Israel did not even exist in the days of his prophecy. How could he prophesy again? Bet Yehudah and Bet Israel did not even exist in the days of his prophecy. He was sharing Torah before the flood. And then when Methuselah died, his son, what happened? The flood came. Met Shalach. When he died, the flood came. Methuselah, the flood came. So one individual must come from the house of Yehudah, one individual from the house